Hey guys, I am Ghost.The.Sammie. I am from Samoyedcoin, or Samoyedcoin, however you want to say it. We are the ambassador for Solana. We are joined on stage actually by the original Ghost.The.Sammie. So I might have acquired his name to come to Web3, but some special guests today. We're also joined by Moana. But what we wanted to do today was actually talk a little bit about some of the Australian projects and the ecosystem we have, not only in Solana, because some of us are cross-chain, but just give you a little bit of flavour of some of the things we're doing. We are dropping some alpha and a few other things as well, but I reckon we should probably tell anyone that's in the actual outside that maybe they don't get any of the merch or free stuff we're about to give away if they're not in the room at the moment. But no, without further ado, I am joined on stage with Jilly from Bad Cats, Reece from PixelGuild, I was about to say Wing from, working out which name we've used, doesn't matter, or Wayne from Magic Eden, and James from Simpler. So what we'll do is, I think the best way to get this one going is, we're going to be really informal. I'm just part of the panel, I'm not a moderator. I think we might just throw over to each other and go down and say a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and your project. So we'll start down the other end to James.
Yeah, I thought that was coming. So yeah, I'm James. I'm from Simpler. So I'm the founder. And what we try and do at Simpler is build a Web3-enabled CRM that allows projects to really get deep, meaningful insights into who their communities are, so that they can better drive that connection. And we do that by having different hubs, so Sales Hub, Marketing Hub, Engagement Hub, and Services Hub. Each hub has like a certain amount of tools in it designed to make the entire process of operating Web3 companies simpler.
So my name is Wayne. I work for Magic Eden. It's the premier NFT platform on Solana. My role is in business development, so I'm sourcing projects for our Launchpad product. Both of these guys have used the Launchpad, so launching the best projects on Solana.
Fantastic. I'm Reece, so I'm the co-founder of PixelGuild. So it's a P2E platformer on Solana, sort of Mario-esque. We've had 35,000 playthroughs since we launched in August. So yeah, we represented ourselves at Lisbon. So yeah, our community is growing really quickly. I'd love for you guys to get involved.
Hey guys, I'm testing. Hey guys, I'm Jay, also known as Jilly online. So I'm the co-founder of a project called BVDCAT, which stands for Be Very Different. So our whole motto is basically, if it's worth doing right. And we launched earlier this year, just a couple of months ago. It's a profile picture collection on Solana. There's 10,000 of them, and we're just building some awesome stuff.
Yeah, and as I said, I'm Ghost from Samoyedcoin. So Samoyedcoin is, you can think of it almost like the Dogecoin of Solana, because people understand dog money really quickly. It's a great marketing tool and mechanism. Yes, Ghost, I know, I said your name. But what it means is that we actually aren't your traditional meme coin. It is a great way to actually onboard new people to Web3. We then take that meme coin so that, we can connect on something really quickly, then we'll actually start layering on things. So we go with education or how to use certain tools, or just by having the dog coin itself, people will turn around and actually go on to a swap tool like Orca, and they may actually swap it for another token. They may turn around and go onto an AMM and learn about that. They may turn around and go onto one of the other DeFi tools and learn about leverage trading. So itself is actually really powerful. In addition to that, we actually pay people to get educated on Solana. But the main thing is that being the ambassador, we get to talk to great projects like these guys, really find out about what everyone does. And one of the best things I found out about Australia is, I am based in Melbourne, but is how vibrant the Australian ecosystem is. I think one of the things that we actually find though, not just Solana, I'm talking about all Web3, but it's very disconnected. So my role is to really make sure we can be a little bit more cohesive. So what I ask of all you guys, there's probably two takeaways out of this session. One, we want to let you guys know what the Web3 community is all about, especially on Solana. And two, is be a little bit open-minded. You may know Solana, you may be on a different blockchain. We're not necessarily blockchain maxis. A couple of these guys are obviously cross-chain, but we want you guys to just think about if there's some tech or stuff that you haven't actually looked about, there may be something interesting. This is called Faster, Cheaper, Greener on Solana. It might be a little bit clickbait because it'll be controversial if we start talking transactions per second, but I probably will get that out in a sec. But yeah, just some of the cool things we're doing. Community is probably a big one I want to touch on. So a lot of us have actually just been in Lisbon for Breakpoint, just before the FTX issue. But we had about 4,000 community members, devs, projects, all for Solana at Breakpoint, which is incredible to see. So over in Portugal. Do you guys want to talk about community and obviously how vibrant that was over there? I can pass to anyone that was there.
I'll start us off. Yeah, so flew halfway around the world, and me being from Melbourne, basically I live about 5 minutes away. It was awesome just to see the number of Australians over there representing themselves. Ghost said something that really stood out to me. We were in a room of, well, an event of about 6,000 people, and within one room and one conference event like this, over 10% of the audience was Australian in that event, and that just blew my mind, being halfway across the world. And so it is an absolute privilege to be up here on stage with some fellow Australians, and also just be given the opportunity from Ghost to represent what I am doing in the space and my project within our hometown.
Yeah, I might go next as well. So yeah, I met all these guys at Breakpoint in Lisbon, which was awesome. So we're a bunch of Australians. As soon as we heard an Aussie accent, we all teamed up, had a couple of shoeys together, which was awesome. But yeah, like just the culture, it's pretty crazy how, I mean, the amount of Australians there at Breakpoint as well, which is awesome. And it's not just like shaking hands and having a beer. It's like we come together and we help each other out with what we need help with, and like no one's afraid to reach out a hand and help out with development or marketing or whatever. Like it's a super close community. So the reason why I'm here is because I met them all at Lisbon, and like maybe within the first 6 hours of catching up with them, they invited me to come up on stage, which was awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. At Lisbon, it's kind of opposite here because they were all Solana people, whereas NFT Fest is majority ETH people. But the kind of community is still, the vibe is still the same, right? Somebody asked me earlier if I met any interesting people while I've been here. I'm from Perth, and I said, every person I've met is interesting. So it's just a collection of like-minded people. And that's where we all came together in Lisbon, and this panel was kind of organised there. We hadn't met in real life before that, except for James is from Perth as well, so there's only like 10 people in Perth, so we all know each other, so yeah. But yeah, just really cool to kind of come together as a community and like spread the word of Solana, I suppose.
I'm feeling pretty left out because I didn't go to Lisbon. We sent Cassie, which is one of the ladies that does our BD stuff for us, and I woke up every day to a bunch of messages with people posing for photos with Cassie saying, "Where are you?" And so I missed out, and I'm not doing that again next year. But yeah, like, look, the whole community thing for Solana is probably the thing that drove me to start building on Solana first. And so when we first started out, we're trying to choose which chain we looked at, we're going to go with. We looked at a whole bunch of different ones. We started jumping into spaces on Twitter and trying to get a gauge for the different communities. And what we found pretty quickly was the community behind builders on Solana was extremely strong. And so if you didn't know something or you needed some help, you could reach out, and people were just so willing to give up time in their day to jump on a call and just go through things with you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Let's touch on, obviously, very different projects. Obviously, CRM, marketplace, gamified stuff, and then obviously PFP project that has tech and stuff as well. What are some of those things that actually attract you to Solana?
I might talk, I guess. A lot of things. So I'm a developer myself. I got into Web3, I guess, last year, so I'm pretty late. But Solana is amazing because basically everything's open source. It's forgiving, like fast transaction speeds, low gas fees. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. So the first thing I got into. And then I was invited, luckily, to Hacker House in Prague in January or February. So I went there, and then I just stayed in Europe, going between the Solana hacker houses and learning how to code and learn Rust. And like within 6 months, it cost me no money at all. I made all these friends. I built some really cool applications I'm pretty proud of. So yeah, just the support. Everything's open source. It's fast. So yeah, I have no complaints. It's the best layer one by far. By far.
Cool. Mic drop.
Walk out of the room. No one leave, please.
Reece, the advantage of having dogs on stage is no one will remember anything we say.
Yeah, for me, it was about Solana almost being the underdogs in the space, but we had a very vocal minority, and the people that I met at the very start were so switched on, and they were just doing things a little bit differently, a little bit more innovative in my eyes. And so myself, I'm not a developer, but essentially the day after I quit my job, I flew over and went to a couple of events, Solana-based in Barcelona, in London, in Portugal. And even though I had no development experience, my consultancy soft skills really translated over. And even with not much information and basically on the other side of the world with a brand new audience, I got so much out of it. I made some fantastic connections. It was just a really welcoming space. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I just went with my gut, and it's rewarded myself and basically given me the opportunity to work in this space full-time.
Yeah, I think one of the key points that actually attracted me, and look, I'll freely admit, these are my dogs. The thing that got me to Solana was they had Samoyedcoin. Obviously, I'm now on the team. But it definitely turned my head from being a Bitcoin maxi to looking at other chains and the technology. I think one of the things that I'd like to reiterate when I talk about being open-minded is that what a lot of founders or projects or even community members find when they come to Solana is that there are always going to be, you know, the vocal minority and a few things, but they're not actually needing to be Solana maxis. You're not having to bring everything over. There are so many founders that have actually gone cross-chain and actually got some of the technology because of the speed and the transaction speed and the low cost that is actually a benefit for your community or your project while you're still having the rest of the core things on ETH. So what I talk about being open-minded is that we think about a multi-chain future, and it may be that at the moment, while we're actually looking at different blockchains, we shouldn't worry about whether it is Solana or the fact that I've labelled this panel Solana. It should actually be, what's the underlying technology and what can it do to benefit me? So at Breakpoint, we did obviously have quite a few large announcements. We announced integration with Google Cloud. We announced, obviously, a heap of... Saga phone, mobile phone, so actually having everything built into the phone. There's quite a few things that once you actually start looking under the hood, it's really intriguing. And it goes well beyond actual NFTs. But when you do talk about that and how we're building communities, James, I wanted to give you the opportunity, given you are cross-chain originally and obviously had ETH stuff as well. And what are you actually doing to benefit communities with Simpler?
So the whole thing with Simpler for us is we wanted to try and give community managers and project founders deeper insights to who's actually in their community and what commonalities that they have so that they can actually build better experiences and try and attract more of the people that they already had that they knew were already active in their communities. So one of the things that you find a lot with fledgling projects and things like that is people get into Discord and they say GM and everyone kind of just talks through them and it's not a welcoming place initially. Or it's a ghost town because it's just started off and there's just no one in there. So what our technology does is we allow people to create missions and create bounties and things like that. Gives people another reason to go to Discord, even if there's no one there or they feel a little bit, not connected with those people just yet. They've got no commonalities. And it allows them to do missions and things like that within the platform itself. And then gives them reasons to go back and have a chat to people and ask, I need help with mission 2, I need help with mission 3 or whatever it is. Creates those commonalities within the community. And as soon as we started doing that, we really saw it just take off because everyone started having something to talk about. It was no longer just like this empty GM in the morning. And it really kind of like took off with the whole community vibe.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I love what you guys are actually doing and the fact that, you're not worrying about the chain it is. You might use underlying technology because you get the speed out of it, but you're really trying to benefit communities itself.
Well, what I'd like to say is blockchain technology is just a tool in a toolbox, right? So you don't go to your toolbox and you're like, you need a hammer and a nail and you grab a screwdriver and because you love the screwdriver, right? You grab the hammer because it's the best thing for the job. And underlying blockchain technology is the same thing. Like you don't try and force it because you really like it, right? Use the best thing for the job.
And when we do talk about underlying technology and a few other things, did anyone catch the Kevin Rose panel yesterday or Vulture or anyone else? Most of the guys spoke about, building something, playing dress-ups with their NFTs, pro or con or different ways. And that's something we actually do on Solana a lot already. We've got it either completely in smart contract, playing dress-ups. We've got it off-chain, on-chain, and then putting back onto there. But BVDCATs are actually something doing some pretty cool stuff at the moment. You've got a trait marketplace coming out. Do you want to talk to what you can do about getting a community member to have that individualization to say, this is my PFP, but hey, guess what? The World Cup's on. This is now my PFP because I want to represent this.
Cool, absolutely. So this is essentially something that might relate to an Ethereum audience through the Moonbirds idea of being able to customize and change and sort of create and innovate your own profile picture. We do things a little bit differently. We've sort of taken it to the next level in terms of engaging our partners, and we have 45 partners in the Solana space and some massive names such as DGods and ABC and Utes and things like that, where our community members are actually able to get a trait that represents, say, the DGods community, which might be different eyes or a jacket, and we use a trait swapping tool, which basically allows you to add a project's trait onto your cat. So where we say be very different, we are focused entirely on the traits and how you apply the traits to create your own profile picture. And then essentially we have a trait marketplace and things like that so people can buy and sell. And the whole benefit here is creating collaboration through sharing utilities, sharing access to different Discords, sharing rewards and benefits to our project, but also the 45 other projects that we're involved with. And that's really made possible by, maybe Wing can go further into how they support what we're doing and the hundreds of other projects that have gone through Magic Eden and just having that marketplace capability.
Yeah, I can speak to that. We didn't actually launch your project on our launchpad though. But what I was about to say is, but probably sounds really bad after saying that, is that as a launchpad, I think we have like a responsibility to, through selection criteria, is to choose really good projects to promote. Not saying that your project's not really good because we didn't launch you. That's where I was going with that. But yeah, so we put a lot of work into like doing our due diligence behind projects and making sure that we can support them to have like a strong seller and to have a continuing partnership ongoing, which we kind of have now, despite the fact. We're good.
We had our differences at the start.
Yeah, so that's kind of my role as business development, is kind of vetting projects and sourcing projects and try to convince them to use our launchpad. The meta on Solana is kind of launchpad meta. Most projects don't really launch themselves; they partner with a launchpad. So kind of filtering the masses of projects that come through, and we only launch 2-3% of projects that apply. So there's really strict selection criteria that goes along with that. So
yeah, awesome. I think one of the things I like about it, and obviously, you know, coming from the ETH world and other things myself as well, is that like Jilly spoke about, is that having that collaboration between 45 different projects. We talk about with Vulture or, you know, K-Rose and stuff, how hard it is just to onboard big brands. So rather than everyone chasing big brands, you can actually go in our microcosm of, you know, not quite the echo chamber, but actually expanding it. So we're all working together. And I think that's something really that resonates with me, is obviously, you know, being a project that acts like an ambassador and wants to educate a lot of people. We can't get there by ourselves. We actually need quite a few other people to get there. And that's how we do this. And this is what we're talking about with the Australian ecosystem. We are very disconnected. So we're going to make a concerted effort over the next 12 months, and hopefully by NFT Fest 2023, we will have, Greg's not in the room, is he? A 5,000 seat venue or 5 days, I don't know. There's definitely got to be something we can do. I did say that I might pull out some transaction stats, given the panel's called Faster, Cheaper, Greener on Solana, just to talk about it. Who in the audience? And we will actually give you Samo via a very cool technology. If you can tell me, let's go transactions per second. These are approximates from someone sent me yesterday. Cardano's transactions per second yesterday. Someone take a stab in the dark, just yell it out. 18?
18.
Yeah, look, it was 2. Because you're close enough, come and grab this and hold on to it, and I'll tell you what to do with it soon. But you can have my bone. Who wants to take a stab in the dark at Binance Chain yesterday? Anything? But yeah, just say, what is 5? Yeah, it was 50. It started with a 5. Come grab this. Sorry. The dogs are going to come and get that. And look, this is a bit mean, but I'll do it anyway. ETH? What do you reckon? 15? Ooh, close. I don't know who that was. Do you want to come grab this? It was 11. So we will tell you. Solana sits about 3,000 yesterday. So transactions per second. So the reason that's relevant is that when we talk about, you know, being open-minded, there's a lot of things you can do with that. When we talk about being cheap per transaction, but being able to process a lot of transactions very quickly, we have a very large DeFi ecosystem. We have a very large NFT ecosystem. What that allows you to do is do cool things like trade swap. It allows you to have other tools you can actually do on chain to benefit your community or your project. So, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, but be open-minded. Maybe at the end of this session, come and hit us up, talk about Solana, or jump online and actually have a look at some of the tools or jump into some of our Discords. I'm going to pass back to you, one of you guys, for a sec.
You want to say something, Jay?
Yeah, I was going to jump in and just quickly say, like, Solana is very open-minded, just in the sense of myself, I didn't have a background in Web3. I was basically introduced to a DAO called Aussie DAO, and everyone here is in that DAO. It's a fantastic group of Australians building in the space. It's very friendly, and basically I got to be friends with all of these guys, and I wouldn't have met them without that. And with that opportunity to meet and greet, we essentially were able to meet up in Lisbon and have a great time. So DAOs are really important in the space, and I know there's a few people that are leading DAOs here. I wanted to quickly touch on yours, Ghost, that's basically just come up.
Yeah, absolutely. So from Samoyedcoin, we actually originally launched the coin in April last year, so we've been around a while. It's probably not long in terms of ETH terms, but in Solana terms, it's definitely OG. So before all the NFT hype actually kicked off. But we're really passionate about education and a few other things. So from what we call Samo proper, we really spent a lot of time looking at DAO tooling, lots of other things, legalities around the world, and trying to look at how we could actually try and set up a great DAO for everyone. What we find is tools and everything's probably not quite where it needs to be yet. So what we've done instead is a few weeks ago, we actually seeded a DAO with, at the time, what was the equivalent of $1 million. So their sole purpose is to actually educate people about Web3 and blockchain technology. If that means that it actually brings people into the Solana ecosystem or the Samoyedcoin ecosystem as well, fantastic. But they will actually go out of their way that you can come into the actual DAO, very low entry of just an NFT and some actual Samo. But what the purpose there is that you may want to get educated about technology or blockchain stuff. They will have research papers that come out. They will go and pay bounties for research papers. Or you may actually want to jump on their council. As with any DAO, the great thing about it is when you seed it, you don't know what it's going to be in the future. But what we did want to do is make sure we take out that need to worry about their finances or their treasury to start. Because otherwise, usually projects will go on into shitty NFT collection that probably doesn't mean anything for the DAO members, or they'll go to VCs, and VCs obviously don't have return on investment for a DAO. So by removing that barrier to entry, hopefully we've seeded something that if you guys jump in and want to be a part of it, obviously it's in its ideation and formation stage at the moment, it's just got its governance stood up. I suggest that, jump online, jump into the Discord, and actually have a look at it. Some of the cool things we do though is actually talk about technology and other things on Solana. So where was this other dog bone? I'm going to jump off stage because it's just fun. Who yelled out before for one? Oh, there you go, all the way up there. So what I'm actually handing you guys is just a little demonstration about some of the cool stuff we can do with tech. This is by B&J Studios or Cupcake guys. So that is an NFC tag that's actually on that bone. What I'm going to get you to do is if you tap that bone with your phone, you just found 6,969 Samo. Yes, I did say 6969. So what that actually means, though, is that to onboard people to Web3, they've just tapped an NFC. All you need to do is put in your mobile phone number, it will, and then click claim the NFT again. It will put it into a non-custodial wallet, which means that it's actually just put it on the chain, and you've actually just got, I think it's about $25 US of Samo there at the moment. You can do with it as you please. You can set up a Phantom wallet or another SPL Solana wallet and transfer it to that. And then you can actually, what you guys have just seen is that if you're doing that to a non-crypto native, all they needed was a mobile phone and we've just onboarded them in 5 seconds. Who thinks that's pretty cool? Cool. What we are going to do though, when we're talking about getting involved, I've got 2 minutes. Biggest advice before we go to the slide, which AV guys, not quite for the slide yet, but just giving you vocal warning, for people to get involved. Let's go down the line and how should people get involved?
Yeah, look, so the way I got involved in the space really for Solana was, especially in the Aussie space, was through Aussie DAO, actually, to be honest. Great group of guys, extremely well connected, and if you want to know something, they'll generally have someone to point you in the direction of. So I can't recommend that enough. Also, just jumping in spaces and just reaching out and having those conversations with people. The thing with Solana is a lot of people there we go.
Let it go.
Pass it along. People will make time. I try and make it a habit to talk to 1 or 2 other founders, or even just people who are just interested in the space daily, and share the experience that we've had as a project and my experience personally as a founder. And it's all about driving connections and making those connections with people all around Australia and all around the world. So that's something that I'm pretty passionate about myself.
I can kind of vouch for that. I said to James the other day, his simpler office in Perth is like a halfway house for Web3 people. They just come and go all the time. But For me, I think magiceden.io, we have a lot of educational material on there. It's really good if you're just new to the space. There's blogs, videos, everything there. I think it's the best starting place for anybody who's interested in Solana, wants to learn about NFTs, or just in general. We're also an ETH aggregator. We just launched a Polygon launchpad as well, so we're not just Solana focused, we're across everything now.
Cool. Yeah, my feedback is don't wait and just fucking do it. I think a lot of people just sit around and research too much and get too emotionally involved and they don't just like dive in. Solana maybe not doing as well as it has been in the past, but like I was at Breakpoint, the amount of stuff that's coming out for Solana is just insane. Like the new Google node and like they have their new mobile coming out. There's a whole bunch of stuff, right? So I'm super confident. We're all super confident. It's going to kill it. If you wait and you don't put your foot forward and do it, nothing's going to happen and you'll miss out. So like we're all here. You can reach out to us if you want to do it and you want to take the dive. I'm more than happy to help you out. So.
Yeah, cool. I'll be quick because I know Ghost is going to say something exciting as well. But essentially, just jump in. Like Reece said, I am amazed at the amount of innovation in the space, both from like soft skills or hard skills, meaning influencers, marketing, content writers. Solana is a great place to be creative from both an art side of things, whether it's one-of-one arts, generative art, and even music and things like that. And also there is so many availabilities within the space to become involved as a developer as well. So there's plenty of open doors, there's plenty of platforms to build off, and I think that will lead into what Ghost is about to say as well.
Absolutely, it is. But there was two things when we were talking about what's coming to Solana. Helium Network, or Decentralized Mobile Phone Network, is freaking exciting. So that's something, if you haven't seen about, go and read up on that. When we're talking about maybe Solana not doing as well at the moment, I beg to differ. An Australian project last week actually just flew through their mint, and in about 60 minutes, Lily, and Bunjil, who is an Australian artist, absolutely killed it. So they've turned around and done, I think it was over $1 million in the first few hours of actual secondary market sales after they minted out really quickly. So I think that the Australian ecosystem, and look, I really wanted to get him down here for this as well, but I think after minting out last week and being busy with the meetings this week, hopefully we'll get him at NFT Fest 2023 when he sees the recording of this. No, but if the AV guys want to put up that panel, when we're talking about getting involved, what we're actually doing, if you are a dev or you are a VC or you're a community member, we're actually bringing Solana Hacker House to Australia in February. So if you don't know what a Hacker House is for Solana, we've had, I think, 24 or something this year. It's something ridiculous. But what it is it is a 5-day event that is free. You can register your interest to attend, and then approvals will come out next year. But if you go to solana.com/events, Hacker House is a really good way for development teams and project teams to actually meet other teams. So it doesn't cost you anything. Register your interest. What we actually do is that there's a whole week of actual activations and getting to know each other and actually learning a lot more about other projects that are building. So if you are interested in that, please jump online. We just had a giant one in Lisbon. I'm going to get killed by the dogs. But yeah, that's it. So what we are going to do after this, though, it is a break now by memory. We will be in the foyer. We're going to give out some merch and we're going to give out some more Samoyedcoin. All you need to do is take a photo of the dogs and post it online and share the love. That's it. If you guys give everyone a clap here as well.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.